So today in this video, we're going to talk about summer boredom, my experience with it, and how I changed my habits and my routine to escape the existential crisis that comes with having absolutely nothing to do for 3 months. And chances are, if you clicked on this video, you have goals, you have aspirations that you want to achieve. But it's just so hard to get started, especially when you don't have the same structure you did during the school year. When you have deadlines in place and you have teachers looking after you, it's a little bit easier to get started and to complete things. But during the summer, when you're given 3 months of free time, basically, you either have your parents, yourself, or an outside program that you need to rely on to get started with something. So hopefully I'm going to talk about the habits and routines that worked for me, and also how you can try and structure a life to try and replicate what I did. Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Keith. I just graduated from high school and I'll be attending Princeton University in the fall. And 2 to 3 summers ago, when I was still in 9th, 10th grade, I experienced a lot of summer boredom and fell into what you could call an existential crisis when I just had too much free time on my hands. And while I can't really remember the specific days that I went through 2 to 3 years ago, I do remember the strange feeling of just wanting to do something but not having the motivation to do so. I think that stems from an inexperience of managing my own time and setting my own goals, which I'll explain later on in the video. A lot of the learning that we do, especially in middle school and high school, is structured by the school. For example, classes are automatically structured for you, meal times are given to you. And while it's great that we have all these structures during the school year, during the summer when these are stripped away from us and we don't have anything, it leaves us a bit defenseless in terms of managing our own time. Now, some people have parents to help them manage their time, or you might just naturally develop some sort of time management by going to school and you're able to apply that to the summer. But for the majority of us, and me included, I just had no idea what to do with free time, how to allocate it to achieve goals or achievements that I wanted. When COVID hit and everything shut down, I didn't have the opportunity to join an in-person summer camp, and I definitely didn't want to join something online. So obviously that meant that I had to figure something out by myself. It can be difficult, especially if you're feeling some sort of summer boredom right now, to break out of that cycle, because you just kind of want to stay in your own bubble and you don't want to try anything new. And I think the most important part about breaking out of this cycle is realizing that you want to change. So I didn't want to feel this existential dread or this summer boredom anymore. So I started picking up small habits here and there that allow me to feel more control over my life. And more notably, the 2 of these that impacted me the most was reading and guitar. During the pandemic, I was stuck on YouTube a lot of the time, and I'd see a lot of investing videos because at the time the stock market was a big thing and it was rational and people were talking about it a lot. And as a result, I wanted to research that more, so I started reading a ton of investment books, self-help books, and that sort of gave me more control over one aspect of my life, which was learning. And what I learned about picking up these 2 habits during the summer was that it creates momentum and it creates familiarity. So why are these 2 things really important during the summer? First, familiarity. During the summer, you want some sort of familiarity. That's why you're on your phone in your bed just scrolling through TikTok, because that's something that you've ingrained in your mind that you do every day. If you're able to weave these habits into your life, you'll be able to show yourself that you don't need your phone to create familiarity. You can also start reading, you can start playing an instrument that can also create that sense of familiarity. And in addition to familiarity, these 2 habits increased the momentum that I needed to start working out, start doing other things that I might not have thought were possible from the get-go. So by starting those 2 habits back in 2020, I reignited a love of learning that I still continue to this day in the summer of 2022. I've started learning and recapping a bunch of academic subjects in preparation for college, and I've actually found myself enjoying it rather than seeing it as a burden. So how did I get started with these habits in the first place, and what specifically made them so special? So saying that I started these 2 habits 2 to 3 summers ago is pretty easy, but how did I actually get started? For me, I think this was really the hardest part, especially when you're inexperienced with managing your own time. It's really important in this step that you don't give up after you've gone off the habit for maybe 3 days or maybe a week, because the more often you fail, the harder it is to convince yourself and to motivate yourself to get back on the wagon. It also helps if this one habit that you've started is something that you've done a lot before. And for me, one habit that I like to do a lot in the past was reading. During the pandemic, I started reading again, which I had done when I was younger. I read 30 minutes a day, and I felt more confident with managing my time. And from there, I got into playing guitar, which I had never done before. But that initial step, by focusing on my reading habit, I developed the confidence that I needed to continue improving and continue implementing other habits. So if you're feeling stuck during the summer, commit to creating a habit out of something you used to do in the past and work onwards from there. If you're already confident about starting habits, or you already have one habit that you're consistently doing every day that is not scrolling on your phone or through TikTok, then you can start thinking about the bigger picture. And if you think about it objectively, forming habits and routines is actually pretty unsustainable if you don't have an end goal. For some habits that might be okay, for example reading, but for more intense passion projects, you might need some more direction, because after a while you might feel like those 30 minutes you're putting in each day aren't actually amounting to any physical progress. So what I recommend you do is to create a goal for yourself. So for you, first you need to decide a timeline that you're going to be thinking in. And for the summer, it's pretty easy. You'd probably just say from the start of summer till the end of summer, or you can think about it in terms of a week. And then after doing that, you want to break up the time frame into smaller chunks and decide how much you need to do each day or each week to be able to achieve that final goal. So for example, if I wanted to achieve a fingerstyle song on the guitar each week, I'd say each day I have to practice 30 minutes and get through half a page per day. And estimating the time frame of your goal and how much you need to accomplish each day obviously won't be accurate, and you might be miles off, but at least you have something to work with. And especially as you continue to develop your habits, you'll find that your estimation of how much you have to do gets better each time you implement it. So looking back 2 to 3 summers ago, I'm really glad that I convinced myself to start these self-development and self-learning projects, because without them, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. So I hope that this video gave you some inspiration on how to manage your time and start personal projects and just not get bored during the summer. So that's it for the video. If you've liked what you've heard, please consider subscribing down below and liking.